Welcome to Imagine Me, the podcast that helps you show up as your best self. I'm Danny, and today we're talking about something raw, personal, and powerful: healing after a toxic relationship. Whether it was emotionally abusive, controlling, narcissistic, or just deeply invalidating, leaving a toxic relationship doesn't end the pain. It's what comes after that can be the hardest part: rebuilding your self-worth. If any of this appeals to you, sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Everybody, welcome back to Imagine Me, the podcast that helps you show up as your best self. And today I have a special guest with me, my bestie boo, my bestie soulmate, Miss Paris Perry.
Hey.
We have been friends for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
And y'all don't try to do the math and try to figure out how old we are.
Right. Don't worry about it because we are actually gorgeous and very young looking for our ages. So,
Mhm. We're in our auntie era, just know that. So
definitely.
today, we are talking about something that I think all of us can relate to. We're talking about toxic relationships and how to rebuild your self-worth afterwards. Toxic relationship doesn't always mean violence. It's often marked by control, manipulation, emotional volatility, or walking on eggshells.
Nobody should have to walk on eggshells in a relationship, period.
Yeah, I feel like that is when you know it's the beginning of the end, is when you begin to police your words.
Yes. Police
And
your words, your feelings.
signs that you might be in a toxic relationship might be constant gaslighting, fear of expressing your needs, cycles of de-evaluation, and feeling isolated or unsure about yourself. If
Right.
you are constantly questioning whether you're the problem, it might be the relationship and not you.
X. Because I've had a bunch of relationships to where as I was like, what is it that I did? What is it that I can do? Like, and all the while, it's not really me. But then sometimes it can be you. But then it's more so of that whole gaslighting. And it's so funny because I never knew what gaslighting was at the beginning.
Mhm.
Till I was being gaslighted, or once I really knew what the word meant. And it was just like, well, damn,
Mhm.
it's been going on for a minute now. Like, oh, okay.
Gaslighting
Yeah.
will make you feel crazy. That
Yes.
that is to me, gaslighting for me, outside of physical abuse, is one of the most insidious forms of abuse
Yeah.
because it gets you to doubting yourself, it gets you to doubting your voice. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients, where we've had to work through trusting your voice again because gaslighting will have you breaking up with yourself, girl.
Yeah. 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 For
Breaking up
sure.
with your own reality, your values, your morals, everything that is important to you. Gaslighting will eventually have you questioning that and your sanity. So,
Yeah. It will. For sure.
yes, it is so hard to come back from that.
It is.
So, the thing with toxic relationships, when you finally do break free from that, there's this huge emotional fallout. When you leave, it's not just the person that you're letting go, it's a version of yourself that you lost along the way.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, we give up portions of ourselves in these relationships.
We give up big portions of ourselves because I remember being in two, one in a relationship and then with an ex best friend of mine. And it was just
Mhm.
like, what am I doing? Like, where do I go now from here? It was like I was lost in both of the relationships. And even though with the romantic relationship, it was like I knew I had to leave, but it was like in the midst of leaving, I didn't know what to do after I left, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense because the versions of you, remember when we were talking about that gaslighting piece, how you forget portions of you and you doubt your voice. You
Mhm.
also are giving up portions of yourself to be okay with this toxic relationship. And so when you essentially come out of this, you have to like start over and kind of remember what was it that made me me?
Yeah.
And You're also letting go of the things that you kind of attach to yourself during that time that no longer serve you. So during this stage, you may feel some guilt, shame, and confusion. You may miss this person even though you know they still hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really hard thing to deal with when you know that this person is not good for you, whether a friendship or a relationship. And I'm glad that you brought up friendships because we don't think of toxic relationships in the form of a friendship.
Yeah.
And friendship breakups can be hard.
Yeah. Yeah. This
We
one,
had one back in 10th grade.
girl.
And that was hard, I'm not gonna lie. But when
Oh
you
my
called
God.
me this summer before school started, y'all, we beefed for like all of our sophomore year.
I swear, like, it was like the worst time ever in my life because it was like, what am I supposed to do with her? Like, first off, we had each other at the beginning. Then we loved each other, and it was just like we were inseparable. And then it was just
Yeah.
like we had all of these other factors coming into our relationship to where it was just
Mhm.
like when there was the fallout, it was what in the world? Like, what are we doing? And it was just like the families are asking. I know Auntie would ask, well,
My
you and
mother
Daniel
too.
aren't talking anymore. And it's like, no, I don't
Yep.
like, doesn't want to be my friend anymore. And it was like one of the things that I'm still haunted by, but not really as bad is friends are like, what is it you said? Like a dozen of eggs.
Oh gosh. Yes. Yes, y'all. I was
Like
so
a dozen of eggs, you can get another one. Like,
y'all.
and I
I
was just
was
like,
I
Danny.
was I was like the queen of like visceral comments, and I'm not proud of it. And like every time she brings it up, it guts me too. It was
Girl,
something along the lines of like, gosh, yeah, it was
a
something like
dime a
that.
dozen. I think
Yeah,
that
like
was
a
what
dime a dozen, and I could get another
you
one.
can always get a new one. Like, Betty,
That
are
was
you
yeah.
serious? Like,
No, and girl, and
what
I
you
keep
mean?
apologizing for it because it's horrible. It's horrible. Don't say that to y'all friends if you really love them.
Please don't, child. It is a gut wrench, and I mean, I have never like when we finally made up, it was like we have not been inseparable since. I mean,
Mhm.
it's been years since we've seen each other, but it was like once we kind of got past that right there, it was just like, okay, it's Paris and Danny all over again.
Yeah.
But honey, it was just like,
Finally, you may not trust yourself when you are outside of a toxic relationship. Areas where you might notice this is if you're a person who likes to bounce ideas off of people. There's nothing wrong with bouncing ideas off of people, but if you feel like you can't make a decision until someone else or you get someone else's opinion on it, and not just one person, maybe a whole bunch of people, and even then, you are still really kind of iffy. There's nothing wrong with checking in with people. But if you can't, if you feel that it is um, really hard for you to make those decisions on your own often, you may be dealing with emotional fallout from a toxic relationship.
I'm good with that. I want to say that I'm good with that because Danny, I am one to where it's just like once I make my mind up to something, I'm gonna follow through with it.
Yeah.
And my thing is, before lately, well, over the past years, it's been like, okay, I made my mind up, I'm gonna do it. But then in the midst of it, it's like, you think I should do it? You think I should do it? And it's just like, you want to do it already. You've already set your mind to it. You've already weighed your pros and cons. Why do you need the validations of others to make a decision that you've already made? And it's like a lot of times when they might not agree with whatever I'm planning on doing, and they're like, oh, okay, I tend to sometimes fall back unless like I'm really just kind of like, yeah, I'm doing it. I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway, even
Mhm.
if everybody else says whatever. But like things that I think is good for myself, and I'm like, okay, I want to do it, but it might not seem great to the other people. I'll fall back on it, even though when it is something that I really want to do for myself, I sit back and sometimes I'll be like, you think I should? And if consensus says no, then I'm like, yeah, well, maybe I should, and maybe I might not. And all the while, mad at myself more so because I know that this is something that I wanted to do,
Mhm.
but for the fact that everybody else said I shouldn't. And before the toxic relationship, I was always like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I don't care what anybody else thinks. And now it's just kind of like meek and mild. And it's just like, that's not you, P. That's
Yeah.
not you.
Mm-mm. Yeah. And you actually led us into the next space that we need to be talking about the rebuilding self-worth piece.
Right.
Um, Lucky for you, you had already had that in place, right? You had the I am secure in my choices, because that was always who you were.
Mm-hmm.
But for those of you out there, you deserve to feel safe in your own skin again. And some things that Paris is bringing up that, you see me shaking my head like, yes, yes, keep going, because I'm about to bring these exact points up. It sounds corny to say, trust your intuition, trust your gut. That's there for a reason. We have evolved in such a way where those feelings mean something. Listen to it.
Yeah. As we should.
Yeah. Um,
'Cause it's not
Remember
going
who
to
you
you.
were.
It's not going to guide you anywhere that's a bad space for you. You know what I'm saying? You know you.
Yes, you know
You
you.
know your feelings. So it's like, go with it. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Jump out there. And I mean, it's gonna be scary sometimes and people might not agree, but you know you. You are your biggest advocate. You know you better than anybody else.
Yeah.
Anybody else. And that's one of the things right now that I'm relearning about myself is like I know me. I know me better. Like people say all the time, like, I know you better than you know yourself. Do you really though?
Mm.
Do you really? Like, I know you know a good version of me, but you don't know me better than what I know me. I live with me every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a thing to where it's just like I know me, do what's best for me, person, do what's best for you, or person, whoever you are, do what's best for you because you're gonna make the best decision for yourself. Now sometimes you might mess up and it's okay.
Yeah.
Trial and error. Trial and error. I tried to grow a garden last year and it was a total disaster. I grew two zucchini, but guess what? I'm going to try again this year. And
Yeah.
that's stopped me from trying to grow things. So it's just like, you know who you are. You know your own buttons.
So here are some steps to start rebuilding. First, validate your experience. You don't need proof to trust your pain. Your pain is your pain. You know what you went through. You don't need anyone else to validate that for you. Do it yourself. Second, reclaim your voice. Speak your truth. You can do this in therapy, journals, or safe spaces. Third, redefine love. Love should feel safe, mutual, and freeing. It should not feel controlling.
Mm.
You don't just heal from what someone did to you. You heal by remembering who you were before they tried to make you forget. All right, y'all. So I'm going to wrap this up. To anyone out there healing from a toxic relationship, this episode is your reminder that your story is not over. You're not broken. You are becoming whole again. Be sure to follow Imagine Me and share this episode with someone who might be in that space too. Be sure to follow us, like, subscribe. Remember, we're trying to reach 300 subscribers. As soon as we get those 300 subscribers, our podcast can get monetized. So help a tiny little podcast grow. It costs you nothing to subscribe. Help us out. Drop a comment below, drop an emoji. It gets us in the algorithm. So,
And not only support you guys, but support yourselves. Like imagine yourself worthy. Free.
yes. Love that. Until next time, remember to show up as your best self. You are worthy, you are valued, and you are loved. Peace, family.
Peace.
I'm good. I'm good. Actually, more than good. Kinda great. Even on the bad days, I thank God.